Hello students, how are you doing? I'm Teacher Faith and today I will be your teacher in mathematics. In this video, we will be reviewing about polygons and plane shapes, solid shapes, line of symmetry, picture graph and bar graph. Are you ready, students? Now let's begin with geometrical figures. What is geometry? Geometry is all about shapes and their properties. So if you like playing with objects or like drawing, then geometry is for you. Geometry can be divided into plane geometry, or known as the 2D shapes, and the solid geometry, or the 3D shapes. Many of these shapes or polygons can be described as flat closed figures with 3 or more sides. But how will you know if it's a polygon? First, a polygon is a two-dimensional or 2D object, not solid. A cube is a 3D object, so it is not a polygon. Next, a polygon is a closed figure. These are some examples of open shapes. Their line segments or curves do not meet, so they are not polygons. And lastly, a polygon cannot contain any curved sides. A circle has a curved side, so it is not a polygon. Now, let's review about polygons and plane shapes. Always remember that polygons are plane shapes or 2D shapes. We have learned that polygons are classified and described by the number of sides. A polygon that has 3 sides and 3 angles is a triangle. Quadrilateral is a polygon that has 4 sides and 4 angles. Square and rectangle are examples of quadrilateral. A polygon that has 5 sides and 5 angles is called pentagon. Hexagon has 6 sides and 6 angles. Heptagon has 7 sides and 7 angles. Octagon has 8 sides and 8 angles. Nonagon has 9 sides and 9 angles. Decagon has 10 sides and 10 angles. Now, let's watch a video to learn more about polygons.
Let's learn about polygons.
It's a shape that's made of connecting lines.
Let's learn about polygons.
The name will tell you the number of sides.
Let's learn about polygons.
It's a shape that's made of connecting lines.
Let's learn about polygons.
The name will tell you the number of sides.
The word polygon comes from the Greek word meaning many angles.
A triangle has 3 sides and 3 angles made from straight lines. You see triangles all the time. A triangle has 3 sides. A quadrilateral has 4 sides and 4 angles made from straight lines. A good example is a speed limit sign. A quadrilateral has 4 sides. A pentagon has 5 sides and 5 angles made from straight lines. The Pentagon building might come to mind. A pentagon has 5 sides. A hexagon has 6 sides and 6 angles made from straight lines. Hex and 6 have an X.
That's right.
A hexagon has 6 sides. A heptagon has 7 sides. And 7 angles made from straight lines. The word hepta means 7.
That's right.
A heptagon has 7 sides. An octagon has 8 sides. And 8 angles made from straight lines. A good example is a stop sign. An octagon has 8 sides. A nonagon has 9 sides. And 9 angles made from straight lines. Just remember that nona means 9. A nonagon has 9 sides. A decagon has 10 sides. And 10 angles made from straight lines. The word deca means 10.
That's right.
A decagon has 10 sides.
Alright kids, it's time for a pop quiz!
How many sides does a triangle have?
3,
Tri means 3. And what about the sides for a quadrilateral?
4,
Quad means 4. How many sides does a pentagon have?
5,
Penta means 5. How many sides does a hexagon have?
6,
Hex means 6. How many sides does a heptagon have?
7,
Hepta means 7. How many sides does an octagon have?
8,
Octo means 8. How many sides does a nonagon have?
9,
Nona means 9. How many sides does a decagon have?
10.
Deca means 10.
Let's
Triangle,
learn about polygons.
quadrilateral, pentagon, hexagon, heptagon,
Let's learn about polygons.
octagon, nonagon, decagon.
Did you enjoy our review about polygons and plane shapes? Now, let's proceed to our next topic, the solid shapes. We have learned that solid shapes are three-dimensional or 3D objects. They have length, width, and height. There are many types of 3D shapes, but today we will only be reviewing these 4: the sphere, cylinder, cube, and rectangular prism. A cube, rectangular prism, sphere, and cylinder are the basic three-dimensional shapes we see around us. Cube. Cube is a three-dimensional square with 6 equal sides. A box is made in the shape of a cube. Cylinder. Cylinder is a solid object with 2 identical flat ends that are circular and 1 curved side. A can is made in the shape of a cylinder. Rectangular prism. Rectangular prism is a solid shape which has 6 faces, all in rectangle shape. A fridge is made in the shape of a rectangular prism. Sphere. The shape of a sphere is round and it does not have any faces. Sphere is a geometrical three-dimensional solid having curved surface. A watermelon is made in the shape of a sphere. Now, can you identify the plane and solid shapes? Let's have a knowledge check. Which one is a rectangle? Remember, a rectangle is a 2D shape. That's right. The first picture is a rectangle because the second picture is rectangular prism. Which one is a cube? Remember, a cube is a 3D shape. That's right. The first picture is a cube because the second picture is a square. Which one is an oval? Remember, an oval is a 2D shape. That's right. The second picture is an oval because the first picture is a cylinder. Which one is a sphere? Remember, a sphere is a 3D shape. That's right. The first picture is a sphere because the second picture is a circle. Which one is a pentagon? Remember, a pentagon has 5 sides and 5 angles. That's right. The second picture is a pentagon because the first picture has 6 sides and it is hexagon. Now, let's review the line of symmetry. We have learned that a line of symmetry is a line that cuts a shape exactly in half. This means that if you were to fold the shape along the line, both halves would match exactly. How can you tell if a shape has a line of symmetry? You can find if a shape has a line of symmetry by folding it. For the square, it can be folded in half over either diagonal, the horizontal segment which cuts the square in half, or the vertical segment which cuts the square in half. So the square has 4 lines of symmetry. Look at the picture. Can you see the lines of symmetry in a square? A square has 4 lines of symmetry. Look at the picture. Can you see the line of symmetry in a heart? A heart has 1 line of symmetry. Can you see the lines of symmetry in a rectangle? Can you count it? Yes, a rectangle has 2 lines of symmetry. How about in a triangle? Can you see the lines of symmetry in a triangle? A triangle has 3 lines of symmetry. How about in a circle? Can you guess how many lines of symmetry does a circle have? That's right. A circle has an infinite lines of symmetry. Since there are an infinite number of lines through the center, the circle has an infinite number of lines of symmetry. Let's see if you can still remember. Are you ready to identify the lines of symmetry? Remember, you can find if a shape has a line of symmetry by folding it. Which picture has the correct placement of the line of symmetry in a heart? That's right, it's the first picture. How about in a rectangle? Which picture has the correct placement of the line of symmetry? That's right, it's the second picture. Can you still recall our lesson about picture graphs? We have learned that a picture graph uses symbols and pictures to represent data. Each picture on a picture graph is used to represent the quantity. Let's count the pictures to find how many. If one ball is equal to 10, then 3 balls is equal to 30. Let's keep count by 10. 10, 20, 30. Another example. If one cupcake is equal to 5, then 2 cupcakes is equal to 10. Let's keep count by 5. 5, 10. Now, let's watch a video to learn more about picture graphs.
Hey everyone! Today we are going to learn about picture graphs. Let's go on over and take a look. We are going to build a picture graph and use it to answer questions about the data we collect. Using a picture graph will help us visualize the data we have. Here are a bunch of colored pencils from my class at school. We need to answer some questions about these pencils, but first we need to organize them into a picture graph. Let's organize these pencils by color. We have quite a few pencils here of different colors. Let's count the blue first. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 blue pencils. Now let's count the red pencils. We have 1, 2, 3 red pencils. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green pencils. Last, we have the pink pencils to count. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 pink pencils. Great! Now we have our data to put into the picture graph. To start our graph, we need a title for the picture graph. Since our data is dealing with the colors of the pencils, should we call it pencil colors? Yeah, that sounds great to me. Here on the left, we will list the different colors of pencils that we have. Up on the top, we have blue, then red, then green, and on the bottom, we have pink. We can label this side colors, so we know that this side of the graph shows us the colors of the pencils we have. This graph is starting to look really good. Now, to show the number of colored pencils we have, we are going to use these pictures of pencils. Each one of these pictures will represent one pencil. When using a picture graph, we need to use a key. The key tells us what the symbol or picture means. One of these pictures represents one colored pencil. All right, now we can put the data on our graph. Let's start with the blue colored pencil. How many blue pencils do we have? We have 4. Great job! So I will use 4 pictures to represent the 4 blue colored pencils we have. How many red colored pencils do we have? We have 3 red pencils, so let's put down 3 pictures to represent the 3 red pencils. How many green pencils do we have? We have 5 green pencils. Let's put down 5 pictures for the green pencils. Great job! We have 1 more left to put on the graph. How many pink pencils do we have? We have 4 pink pencils, so let's put 4 pictures to represent all 4 pink pencils. This is awesome, guys. We now have a picture graph that shows how many colored pencils we have and how many of each color. This graph gives us lots of information. Now we can answer some questions. Are there more blue pencils than green? If we look at the picture graph, we can see that the answer is no. There are more green pencils than blue. We can tell that by seeing more green pictures than blue. Now, can you tell me which color has the least amount of pencils? Red has just 3 pencils, and we can see there are 3 by the pictures on the graph. Last question. How many pink and red pencils are there together? There are 7. When you add the 4 pink pencils to the 3 red pencils, we get 7. Great job, guys! Keep practicing your picture graphs, and you will get to see the big picture. See you later!
I have here another example of a picture graph. In this picture graph, you can see pictures of different fruits, such as mangoes, apples, bananas, and oranges. Each picture of fruit represents 2 students. So now, let's answer the questions. What does the graph show? Look at where the arrow is pointing. This picture graph shows the fruits eaten by the students. How many students are represented by each picture of fruits? Look at where the arrow is pointing. As you can see, 1 picture of fruit is equal to 2 students. How many students ate bananas? Look at the picture of bananas. Let's count how many bananas are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 bananas, but each picture of banana is equal to 2 students. So let's skip count by 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So there are 16 students who ate bananas. What is the least eaten fruit? Look at the picture graph. Which picture of fruit is the fewest? Correct, the mangoes. So we can say that mango is the least eaten fruit. And for our last topic, let's review the bar graphs. We have learned that bar graph is a graph using bars to show how large each value is. Bar graph has no pictures, but it has a scale of numbers. Now, let's watch a video to learn more about bar graphs.
Hello, and thanks for joining me today, guys. We are going to learn about bar graphs. If you look right here, you can see that we have some fruit. I wanted to know what types of fruit my friends like, so I went out and asked my friends what fruit they like the most. Here you can see that I have tally marks to show how many of my friends liked which fruit most. You might know already, but a tally mark is a useful way to represent data. Each time a friend told me they liked a certain fruit, I would put a tally mark under that fruit to keep track of how many people liked that fruit. Now we will put all this information that I have gathered into a bar graph. A bar graph is another way to represent data. It is a lot like a picture graph, but without the pictures or symbols. Here's our graph, but the first thing we need to do with any graph is what? We need a title. Since the information we collected was on favorite fruits, let's call it favorite fruit. With this graph, I want to put the names of the fruit on the bottom and the numbers on the left side going up. We can see here on the bottom we have the names of the fruits. We should label what these are. This is obviously going to be labeled fruit, since they're fruit. On the side, we need to measure how many people liked these different types of fruit. We only need to go up to 6, since our information or tally marks only go up to 6. So the numbers going from 1 to 6 represent the amount of people. We can now fill out the graph according to our data. First in our data are the apples. We can see from the tally marks that 2 of my friends liked apples. So here on the graph, we will have this bar at the bottom go up 2 spots to show that 2 people liked apples. Okay, next we have oranges. How many people liked oranges? Good job! 3 people liked oranges, so we move the bar up to where the 3 is. Now how many people liked pears? We had just 1 that liked pears, so the bar goes up just 1. The last one is bananas. There were 6 people that liked bananas, so the bar goes all the way up to 6. We now have an amazing bar graph that shows all of our data that I collected about what is the favorite fruit to eat. With this graph, it is easier to read and interpret the information. For example, I can see that only 1 person liked pears. Now that's interesting. Can you tell me what fruit was the most popular? We can tell from the graph that bananas were the most popular. Can you guys tell me how many more people liked bananas than oranges? Looking at the graph, we see that 6 people liked bananas and 3 people liked oranges. Counting up the graph from 3 oranges, we count 1, 2, 3 spots. There are 3 more people that liked bananas instead of oranges. We can learn lots of cool information from this graph. Practice doing your own bar graphs and compare the information you collect. We'll see you next time.
I have here another example of a bar graph. This graph shows favorite fruits of the students, such as mangoes, apples, grapes, bananas, and oranges. Each bar represents the number of students who like the fruit. What does the graph show? As mentioned earlier, this bar graph shows favorite fruits of the students. How many students like grapes? To answer this, look at the bar. Then, look at the scale of numbers. Is it 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, or 100? As shown in this bar graph, we can say that 80 students like grapes. Which is more, bananas or oranges? To answer this, let's look for bananas and oranges, then let's compare. By looking at this bar graph, we can say that bananas are more than oranges. What fruit is the least favorite? By looking at this bar graph, we can easily see that mango is the least favorite fruit. To check if you learned something from our review today, and if you're ready for the final examination, I have prepared some questions for you. Direction. Identify whether the statement is true or false. Now get a piece of paper and write down your answers. Write true if the statement is correct and false if it is wrong. Pause the video to answer the questions. Number 1. A square has 2 lines of symmetry. A square has 2 lines of symmetry. Number 2. A hexagon has 6 sides and 6 angles. A hexagon has 6 sides and 6 angles. Number 3. Bar graph has a scale of numbers. Bar graph has a scale of numbers. Number 4. A line of symmetry is a line that cuts a shape exactly in half. A line of symmetry is a line that cuts a shape exactly in half. Number 5. There are no pictures in a picture graph. There are no pictures in a picture graph. Number 6. Cube is a solid shape. Cube is a solid shape. Number 7. Rectangle is a solid shape. Rectangle is a solid shape. Number 8. Quadrilateral has 4 sides and 4 angles. Quadrilateral has 4 sides and 4 angles. Number 9. Watermelon is made in the shape of a sphere. Watermelon is made in the shape of a sphere. And finally, number 10. The flat end of a cylinder is a square. The flat end of a cylinder is a square. Thank you for listening, and good luck on your final examination. Goodbye and see you all soon. This is again Teacher Faith, now signing off.